seen from several Twitch streams, Lil Baby's a gambling man, and in this scenario, he's gambling what's left of his aura. The features he announced for this album are actually pretty interesting. Playboi Carti, Young Thug.
Was that necessary? Who's this? Yo, this Young Thug. Welcome back to another video, guys. It's the boy Tad. We were checking out Lil Baby is setting himself up for failure by I used to be paid. Now, Lil Baby is one of those artists that I think it's been said a lot of times, but I just have to say it again. But he had so much potential. Like he was the next big thing. And he was the next big thing for a while, but I don't know what it was, but I just think he didn't move smart. You know, it's the same case with Jack Harlow. Well, not literally the same case. It's just a case of not really putting into consideration what your image would look like to the world. You know, like they didn't have a strong grasp on what they wanted their branding or their brand identity to be, because as a public figure, your branding is everything. It matters more than who you are in real life, you know, because branding is how the audience perceive you. That they associate your branding to your truth. Like that's who you are. Not minding the actual fact that you are a completely different person in real life. To the mass audience, how you portray yourself on interviews, in random photo shoots, in appearances in the outside world, it dictates how they perceive you, and how they perceive you dictates your opportunities, the doors that are open to you in whatever career you're on. And I just think Lil Baby was one of those people who didn't really, maybe he thought about it, but he didn't really put it into execution. Like you can't be caught being sandwiched by two other dudes or being found in some vulnerable positions and still want to retain your gangster like presence, because you destroyed it. Those are two very opposing images right there, you know. Anyway, let's hear what he has to say.
What's good, YouTube? It's Justice I Used to Be Paying. Today I'm back with another video, and in this video I'm going to be telling you why Lil Baby might have just set himself up for failure. But before I get into that, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Do all those things, it helps me out a ton. Lil Baby just put a ton of pressure on himself. He has an album coming up for release this Friday titled Leaks, and he essentially went all in on his musical reputation. Whatever's left, he's gambling, and this is what the kids like to call aura gambling. The reason why there's so much riding on the success of this album is just simply when he decided to drop it. See, not too long ago, maybe a few weeks ago now, Gunna said that he was going to drop his next album, the last one, on August 8th. Now, he said that with like a week in between the date of announcement and the date of release, so he probably said that like August 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, one of those days. And shortly after that, Lil Baby all of a sudden has an announcement that he's dropping an album on August 15th. Now, Lil Baby did end up pushing the album back a week to the 22nd, but still, this was a very clear attempt from Lil Baby to try and squash Gunna's release. Gunna and Lil Baby have been beefing for like the last 2 years now or something like that since Gunna has gotten out of jail. This is due to the belief that Lil Baby and Young Thug have that Gunna snitched on Young Thug and the rest of YSL. Gunna is still signed to YSL, however, at least he was until this last album, I'm pretty sure. And Young Thug is obviously the owner of the label YSL, so he knew when Gunna was dropping long before he announced it to the rest of the public. And I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that Young Thug probably told Baby when Gunna was dropping in order for them to kind of cook up a scheme to kind of embarrass Gunna and squash his release. Yet I don't think that this is going to play out the way that Young Thug and Lil Baby probably expected to. The reason I say this is mainly due to the fact that in the court of public opinion, the fans have decided to choose Gunna over Young Thug and Lil Baby. Fans have been really annoyed with the street dudes, the street rappers, really trying to enforce their street rules on us as music listeners, trying to make us drop Gunna and no longer listen to Gunna because of the snitching allegations. I wouldn't say that the rappers have necessarily blackballed him, but they're pretty close. They're playing the reindeer games over here, and they've shunned Gunna to that corner of the room. So it's like people are already annoyed with street dudes trying to enforce the rules on us, but now they're trying to do it to a fan favorite who people have loved since day one. They don't care about the snitching allegations. So people have riled around Gunna, and he's gained even more support because of this. And if we're looking over the last 2 years specifically, Gunna has made better music than Lil Baby and Young Thug. Now, Thug was in jail for the last 2 years, or most of the last 2 years, so I mean, he kind of gets a pass. But Baby, that's not the case. And in the case of Baby, he actually had a reputation as one of the best rappers of this generation. But if we're looking more recently, he's kind of fallen from that, and people don't see him in the same light. He's gone from a guy that was universally beloved as an artist that everyone loved, everyone had in their playlist, everyone kind of had in their top 5, and if you said he was your favorite rapper, nobody looked at you sideways, to a guy that a lot of people see as kind of one-dimensional, kind of basic, and a lot of people they feel like they've grown out of his music. I believe Lil Baby's making a mistake by dropping around the same time as Gunna, because he's already been losing this PR battle for like 2 years now. The fans have already chosen Gunna. Not only that, but his public perception as a whole has kind of been taking a downswing from the way that people view him musically and as an artist to the way that people even view him as a person, with situations like the streams with Blackboy Max where people are calling Lil Baby a scammer and saying he's weird, and his crew, and even the stream with Aiden where some of his buddies were gambling and didn't want to pay off the debt. Like, there just has been a lot of negativity surrounding Lil Baby as of recently, and the best way to fix your PR if you're a musician or an artist is to drop great music. Just ask somebody like Chris Brown. So Lil Baby has an opportunity to kind of fix this negativity, this negative PR with this new album and kind of rejuvenate his public perception. And I think that he's making a mistake by immediately tying this album to the Gunna situation, because this album should have been focused on him dropping great music, him getting back in the good graces of hip-hop fans, him just being the guy that's going to be super, super hot again, the guy that's taken off like he was in 2020. But now instead of that, he's dropping around the same time as Gunna and immediately reminding fans of a situation that they already don't like him for. So instead of just dropping his own album, now everything that happens with this album is going to be immediately compared to whatever happened with Gunna's album, for better or for worse. He's already under a ton of scrutiny from fans talking about his music, and his next project was probably going to be judged pretty harshly, as people are just looking for a reason to hate Lil Baby. Now he made the pressure 10 times worse, planning his drop around Gunna's drop. For one, he has to outsell Gunna. Gunna is on pace to sell like 90K first week, which is actually quite good. But the one thing that Lil Baby has always had over Gunna is the numbers. No matter what you think about these two rappers, no matter who you think is better, no matter what debate you have back and forth, Lil Baby has always been unequivocally the bigger and hotter artist, even back when they were friends years ago. So if now the public sentiment is not only Gunna's making better music, but it's also that Baby can't outsell him, it's gonna get super nasty for Lil Baby. Even if he does outsell Gunna, if it's not by like 50K or more, people are gonna try and roast Lil Baby for having all this industry support, all these features, and still being within the same range as Gunna. Musically, Lil Baby's been stalling for the last few years or so. A lot of people have tried to attribute this to him and Gunna no longer being together, saying things like Gunna was giving Lil Baby the sauce, Gunna was even his ghostwriter. I think that stuff is a bit far-fetched, but still, there is a lot riding on this album to be good. His last album, Wham!, pretty much came and went immediately. It wasn't well received. It didn't have a...
That's crazy. I didn't even know he dropped an album called That. Like, this is genuinely the first time I've heard that in my life. Like, not even... That's insane. He dropped an album. It was called Wham. I have never heard or seen it, and I'm not even exaggerating. This is literally the first time I heard of an album like that.
Crazy impact, and it's been essentially forgotten already, and it came out this year. He also hasn't had a major hit in a little minute. Now, for most people, it's not that big of a deal. You don't need to have a hit every year or every 18 months. But for the run that Lil Baby was going on before this kind of dry spell of music, it is kind of crazy that he hasn't had a massive hit in a cool minute. In my opinion, he hasn't had a complete run of good music since like 2021. Now, that's not for me to say that he hasn't dropped good music since 2021. He has good songs and good verses here and there, but he hasn't really had a complete run to me since 2021 where everything that was coming out was good. Like, especially his verses, and if we're talking about his albums, it gets even worse there. This album should be
Yeah, Lil Baby is one of those rappers again who are falling into, I think, complacency, all his verses just sound the same now. He uses the same whiny, voice. I'm sorry to call it whiny, but that's how it comes off to me. Like it's like he's singing through his nose, but he's rapping, and it's cool, but you do it again and again and again and again on different beats, different times, different songs, saying the same things. It gets annoying. I'm sorry. It does get annoying. It gets to the point where someone hears you start your verse and they're like, oh my God, not this dude again. And that's not what you want. You want to be unpredictable. You want to have a sound that your fans love, but still keep them on their toes. Like, oh, Baby's on the song. What's he gonna do? Like, what's the energy he's gonna come with? You know? And yeah, like Baby just does the same thing over and over again. And yeah, I think that's one of the contributing factors to the reason why he's not on that momentum. He doesn't have that motion that he used to have in 2020/2021, you know.
Baby trying to remind us why he's one of the best of this generation and why so many people were so high on him just a few years ago. Some people even comparing him to Lil Wayne, saying he's the Wayne of this generation, which I always thought was wild, but still. Lil Baby is betting on this album to be a banger. Gunna's album came out and people like it, but it's not taking over the world. There is a real opportunity for Lil Baby to rewrite the narrative that's been surrounding his and Gunna's music since the split. If this album is fire, then that would be an aura regaining of the likes we haven't seen before. As we've seen from several Twitch streams, Lil Baby's a gambling man, and in this scenario, he's gambling what's left of his aura. The features he announced for this album are actually pretty interesting. Playboi Carti, Young Thug.
Was that necessary? Who's this? Yo, this Young Thug? Who's this? Hold on.
The features he announced for this album are actually pretty interesting. Playboi Carti, Young Thug, Lucky.
Bruh, I was so scared. I'm so sorry, guys. I am so sorry. I thought that was Young Thug because that was the last um heard before I paused the video that registered in my head. So I'm like, wait, is this Young Thug? I'm so sorry. Lucky, yeah. I'm not really familiar with the dude, but I have heard a few of his songs. But yeah, I was laughing because the guy said he's gambling on this album because he's a gambling man. I'm like, bro, is that really necessary? Did you have to put that in there?
V's, and a few more. Lil Baby has been stuck in the trap vortex with his features for the last 5 years now, where the only features on his album were Future, Young Thug, 21 Savage, Gunna, Lil Durk, and Travis Scott. Outside of Thug, we have a pretty much new cast for this Lil Baby album, which is massive. Lil Baby has needed a refresh for the last few years now, so hopefully with this new cast, that will help. This album is going to be very key to where Lil Baby goes for the rest of his career. Personally, I think that Lil Baby is a very, very good rapper. He just really needed a reset. It felt like in his music post 2021, he got very complacent. His verses felt kind of mailed in, the albums felt mailed in. It didn't feel like he had that same passion and hunger that he did in the beginning, which is understandable. That makes perfect sense. To go from, pretty much broke to generational wealth in 3 to 4 years, yeah, I get why you wouldn't want to grind as hard as you did in the beginning. So maybe that's
I don't get it. I don't get it. If anything, the more money I make, the more passionate I am about certain things. Like you, I I would give my best in the starting days because I'm trying to get there. Like, and don't get me wrong, you do give some certain effort or level of effort. But you see, the minute I start making money off something I love doing, it's a different energy because now I'm not just doing it because I love it. Now I'm getting paid. That's like double affirmation for me. It's like double confirmation that, bruh, double up. But I'm about to start hitting strides as soon as I see those greens start pouring in, bro. I'm about to take it to new heights and new levels. But that's just how I am. The more money I make, the hungrier I get. Like the Oliver Twist in me doesn't let me get complacent, regardless of anything. Like it's like, bro, I'm making so much money. I'm doing way more because I want to make even more than that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
That's why Lil Baby is putting all this pressure on himself by dropping around the same time as Gunna. Maybe that competition from Gunna is what's going to inspire him to really get that fire under his butt and start rapping again like he used to. Maybe this competition is what we needed to get that greatness pulled out of Lil Baby that he displayed just a few years ago. I will say this though, if this album is considered a success, where Lil Baby outsells Gunna by a lot, and the album is pretty much widely considered to be good, we may be in for a flip. You know, we all know that the internet and fans are very fickle, especially rap fans. They're very fickle. It's very much, what have you done for me lately? And if you've been listening to the internet, there have been rumblings building about Gunna and him making the same song over and over again, and people just not being as high on Gunna as they once were. It's just getting louder and louder. For as many people that were glazing Gunna when he first got out of jail and he was dropping music and he was hot and all over the place, there's as many people now who feel like they're split on Gunna, feel like his music is kind of bland, kind of stuck in the mud. So if Lil Baby comes out and this album is dominating the charts, is dominating the music space, is dominating the conversation, people are
This video was 1 day ago. Doesn't Gunna have like a #1 song on Billboard Hot 100 right now? With I'm Nigerian, by the way. I feel like I need to keep saying this because you guys will probably be wondering who Ashake is. I'm saying Asake, yeah. Shout out um Charlemagne the God. But yeah, like they're #1 right now, right? I'm not really tapped in like that, but I do know that one song was said to be #1. Um, I don't listen to a lot of Gunna, so I can't say as much as I do with Lil Baby, but yeah, like the few songs I've heard from Gunna, he has a distinct style and it's definitely very interesting, but if he's repetitive too about it, it's gonna get boring. It's gonna get tiring. You know, you have to switch it up, right? You can't keep doing the same things and expecting the same results. That's the definition of insanity. You know, the first time you do it, it's a smash. You do it a second time, it's still a smash. Granted, go ahead, do it a third time. You do it a third time, it's a smash. Do it a fourth time. But if you do it the first time, it's a smash. You do it the second time, it's okay. People love it. It's all right. You're trying to test the waters and you do it a third time, and then you see that nobody's really messing with it. This is your chance to switch. Now do something else because you've tired that play out. That play, the audience, the opponent, they know that play now. You can't do that. You can't make a basketball play 3 times in a row and not get stopped by the third one. Because now you've done it enough times that they're like, okay, this is what's happening again. You know, switch it out, do something else, and then you can throw that play back in again later on and then catch them again, you know, and then do it again. Switch, do something else, do something else, do something else, return to what they love you for, and that way you keep things fresh. You have a consistent sound, but you have enough versatility in you that they can't really know what's coming next. And you know, I think that's the play for most artists, but they don't really think through it. Either that or they just get complacent and they don't care, because when you're making millions of dollars, like who cares about a verse, you know what I'm saying? But man, I don't know.
loving it, we might be in for a massive flip in terms of this narrative, and this gamble might have ended up paying off extremely, extremely well for Lil Baby. But I guess we're just gonna have to see. We're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, like there's nothing I love more than seeing black people, you know, dominate and, you know, kill things, but like kill it in their respective careers, you know, because it's very hard, you know. So every time I see another black man doing really good, it just goes to show what is possible and that hard work can really, and you know, God and then hard work can really go a long way in changing your life. But that's it for this video. Thank you for tuning in. Smash the like button, drop a comment, share, you know, subscribe if you will. I do reaction videos like this. If you like this, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.